Here's a line from that white paper you published last week. A new model for the Scottish economy could see your living standards begin to rise to match those of other comparable independent nations in Europe. You said we could be £10,000 per household better off if we're independent. There is a lot of emphasis these days, Mr. Swinney, not least from you, on openness and honesty in politics. Shall we just be clear with the audience this morning? We could also potentially be substantially worse off under independence. We could end up being £10,000 per household worse off in an independent Scotland, could we not?
Well, what we've got to look at, Martin, are the comparative examples around about us, and that's what we're doing in the document on Wednesday. We're setting out the fact that if we look at other small European countries, like Denmark or Ireland, who've got the golden combination of independence and EU membership, these countries are more prosperous, they are fairer, and they are more equal than Scotland
but you can't offer that
Kingdom.
Combination because you are in no position to offer EU membership, and you won't be for years, quite possibly decades.
Well, I don't agree with you on that point, Martin, because I think Scotland's got a track record of 50 years of engagement in the European Union. We've got a legal framework that's consistent with the European Union approaches, and we're obviously going to be a willing partner. And if you look at the developments of the European Union is an organisation that wants to bring countries together.
But you need to have your own currency to get into the club.
And clearly, well, we've set out in the paper our approach on our currency plans to make sure that we move to the establishment of a Scottish currency.
When?
And when the times are right to do that.
And when might that be?
When the times are right to do that, Martin. When the economic circumstances are correct and we can justify that. We use the pound to begin with, and we move on to our own currency when the conditions are correct and the institutions are in place.
I promise not to make a habit of jumping in and interrupting you, but I really want to come in there because what would happen if we became independent very quickly would be that we would be out in this economic maelstrom at the moment that is really causing big established economies with their own currencies, their own central banks, all that, to really struggle to make ends meet. And we would be alone out there, part of no union. We wouldn't have a currency. We wouldn't have a lender of last resort. The markets on whom we would be absolutely dependent would be looking at us fairly sceptically because we wouldn't even have the power to set our own interest rates. How easy do you suppose it would be under those circumstances to grow our economy to a sufficient extent for you to say, right, we're firing, the boosters are burning now, now's the time to get our own currency, now's the time to get into Europe? It's difficult to see how those stars align, is it not?
Well, that's the gloomiest of gloomy I've ever heard, Martin.
I'm sorry if you don't like reality, but what part of that was not rooted absolutely in reality?
Well, I'm afraid it's rooted in gloom, Martin. And what Scotland's got, what your question to me takes no account of, is the economic strengths of Scotland. It takes no account of the fact that this country is a renewable energy powerhouse, despite the fact that our people are living in fuel poverty and paying sky-high fuel bills, higher fuel bills, frankly, than they were offered by the Labour government, who promised to cut fuel bills if they were elected, and fuel bills are now £200 higher than when Labour came to office. Now, I want to make sure the energy wealth of Scotland is used to power and fuel our economy. I want to build on the strength of our universities, who are contributing phenomenally to the world-class reputation of Scotland. I just hosted a global investment summit in Scotland on Monday and Tuesday of this week, in which investment is coming into Scotland, recognising the strengths of our country in life sciences, energy and financial services. These are all the economic strengths of Scotland upon which a better lifestyle for Scotland can be founded. And we only need to look at Denmark and Ireland to see what other small European countries are able to do if they're not shackled with the inequality of the United Kingdom and the stagnation in living standards because of the mistakes that have been made by the UK, which take no account of the choices in Scotland. We didn't ask for Brexit, but we had it forced upon us. And the people who argued for no in 2014 said, vote no and your membership of the European Union will be assured. And we don't have that. We've lost that. And we've lost the opportunity to grow and strengthen our economy as a consequence.
Well,